If you've ever stumbled onto a page you weren't supposed to see, listen carefully. Don't go back. Don't even try searching for it. Because once you've seen it, once it knows you've seen it, you can't undo that. I know how this sounds, like some desperate clickbait warning, some cheap horror story, but I swear to you, this isn't for entertainment. I don't want you laughing or leaning in for a scare. I want you to leave. To stop before curiosity eats you alive the same way it did me. Because the truth is, I ruined my life by clicking one single link. It wasn't on the dark web, not some movie-style hitman for hire site. No, it was worse because it was so ordinary. I was just browsing late at night, hopping between forums, following half-broken links like I always did. Normal stuff. Mindless scrolling. Until I wasn't. Until I landed somewhere I shouldn't have. At first, it looked like nothing. A blank white page. A single sentence typed dead center. You shouldn't be here. I almost laughed. I thought it was some dumb ERG, a joke site. You know the kind. Red text, scary gifs, maybe a screamer. But it wasn't that. It wasn't a game. Every second I stayed on that page, something shifted. I felt it watching me. Not in the way creepypasta writers say that for effect. No. I mean, I could feel my own webcam turning toward me. I could hear the faintest static in my headphones, though nothing was playing. If this video disappears tomorrow, you'll know why. If my account goes silent, if my voice fades from this platform, it won't be because I wanted it to. It will be because they found out I told you. But you deserve to know. Someone has to know. So, let me tell you how I found it. It started like any other sleepless night. You know the kind. The ceiling feels like it's pressing down on you. Every tick of the clock gets louder, and the silence is unbearable. So, like always, I turn to the internet. It's comforting, in a way, how endless it is. You can distract yourself forever if you know where to look. I wasn't doing anything strange. Just scrolling through forums, watching old videos, clicking through pointless threads. We've all done it. Those nights where one random link turns into 3 hours of clicking deeper and deeper into nonsense. Weird memes, abandoned blogs, lists of urban legends. It's funny what people leave behind online. Little digital fossils scattered across forgotten corners of the web. Most of it is harmless, just clutter. At first, that's all it was. I found myself chuckling at half-broken websites still stuck in the early 2000s aesthetic, blurry backgrounds, autoplay music that nearly blew out my speakers, pages promising miracle diets or exclusive cheats for games no one plays anymore. Harmless internet weirdness. But then, something shifted. I stumbled onto a thread buried in a forum I'd never heard of. The title was just, "Don't click if you value yourself." Normally, I'd laugh that off. It's classic clickbait, right? But the replies weren't jokes. They were panicked, rambling, users begging moderators to delete the post. Some messages were half deleted mid-sentence, like someone had yanked the plug while they were typing. At the very bottom was a single link. Not flashy, not disguised, just plain text, almost invisible. A URL with no context. No one had reacted to it. No one had clicked like. It sat there like it was waiting. I should have stopped there. I should have laughed and gone back to cat videos or ghost stories. But I didn't. The moment my cursor hovered over it, my stomach tightened. Something in me knew this wasn't like the other junk links. It felt heavier. Wrong. And here's the part you're going to hate. I know you'll try to search for it after this. Don't bother. You won't find it. I've checked 100 times since. It doesn't show up in caches, archives, or histories. It shouldn't even exist anymore. But that night, for me, it was there. And I clicked. When the page finally loaded, my first thought was that it looked old. Like, really old. The kind of site you'd expect to find back in the days of dial-up, when every page was a patchwork of garish colors, clashing fonts, and buttons that didn't go anywhere. The background was a dull, washed-out gray, with text boxes layered crookedly across the screen. It felt less like a web page and more like someone's forgotten art project. At first, I laughed. I've seen plenty of junk like that. Abandoned fan sites, half-finished ARGs that nobody bothered to complete. But the longer I looked, the stranger it felt. There was no clear theme. The homepage was littered with half-broken words. Here you are, in block letters at the top, and below that, scrambled lines that looked like copied code. Images were scattered throughout the page, but they didn't fit together. Blurry photos of hallways, empty playgrounds, and faces so pixelated I couldn't tell if they were smiling or screaming. I told myself it was just edgy internet theater. But then I noticed something that made me freeze. In the corner of the screen, a tiny box displayed a timestamp. I thought it was just a site counter, something from an ancient coding script. But it wasn't static. It was shifting, real time. The numbers matched my clock, down to the second. And then it changed. The box flickered, stuttered, and suddenly spelled out, "You're late." I sat back, my chest tightening. Okay, creepy, sure, but maybe it was just some kind of trick. Maybe the site was pulling local data, like cookies or a time sync. I told myself that. I needed to tell myself that. I scrolled further. A block of text stretched across the middle of the page. The sentences didn't form paragraphs, just fragmented phrases stacked on top of each other like broken poetry. "We've been waiting. Don't close it now. You're almost here." I almost laughed again, but it came out thin and nervous. This had to be an ARG, right? Some failed attempts at a viral project. Maybe a student experiment. Someone trying too hard to be unsettling. But here's the thing. It felt different. Not staged. Not clever. It was too direct. I wish I'd screenshotted it. I really do. But when I reached for the keys, my PC glitched. The cursor froze, the screen flickered black for a second, and when it came back, the option was gone, as if the computer itself didn't want me to remember. And still, despite every instinct screaming at me to close the browser, my curiosity dug in deeper. Every rational part of me said to stop, close the tab, shut down the computer, walk away. But instead, my fingers moved like they weren't mine, clicking deeper into the site. Each link opened something new, like descending stairs into a basement I couldn't see the bottom of. The first link I clicked led to a forum page. At least, it looked like a forum at first glance. Lines of usernames, threads, timestamps. The layout was clunky, straight out of the early 2000s, with pale blue hyperlinks and a sidebar that didn't work. But the threads, they weren't normal. One thread was titled, "Happy Birthday, My Name." I felt my stomach knot. It wasn't just my name. It had today's date attached to it. My real birthday. I clicked it, my pulse hammering. The page took a full 10 seconds to load, like it wanted to make me wait. When it finally appeared, the text was nothing but rows of congratulations stacked endlessly down the page, each posted by different usernames. But every username looked wrong. They weren't random screen names. They were the names of people I actually knew, classmates from school, coworkers I hadn't spoken to in years, even my grandmother who died when I was 12. And beneath each congratulations, there was a comment in brackets. "We're watching." I backed out, hands shaking, and clicked another thread. This one was titled Hometown. I didn't want to open it, but I did anyway. Inside were grainy, low-resolution photos, shots of streets I recognized, places I'd walked 1,000 times. The gas station where I bought snacks in high school. The rusted playground behind my old apartment building. Even the cracked sidewalk outside my current house. Some of the photos looked recent. Too recent. I slammed the laptop shut. My heart was racing, but the silence in the room made it worse. I reopened it after a few minutes, trying to convince myself it was cached images, maybe scraped from Google Maps. But when the screen blinked back on, the site was still there, waiting, like it hadn't even noticed I left. Another link caught my eye. Chat. Against my better judgment, I clicked. The screen turned black for a moment, then filled with lines of text, scrolling upward like a live feed. At first it looked like nonsense, random strings of words. But then the sentences sharpened, forming into something coherent. "We know you're here. Why are you still reading? It's too late to leave now." I tried to type back, just to see what would happen. My fingers hovered. Then I typed, "Who are you?" The response appeared instantly, like it had been waiting for me. "We're your reflection." Then another line appeared, almost playful. "Check your window." I froze. I didn't want to look, but I did. Outside the glass, the night was still, the street empty. But when I turned back to the screen, a new image had loaded. It was a photo of me, sitting at my desk, looking at the computer. And that was the first time I realized the website wasn't just on the internet anymore. It had started bleeding into my world. That night, I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I swore I could still see the faint afterimage of the website's text scrolling in the dark. Worse, my computer, completely powered down, made noises. Faint clicking, like a hard drive waking up on its own, followed by a static hiss that lasted just long enough to make me wonder if I'd imagined it. The next morning, things got worse. My desk chair had been moved. Not by much, but enough that I noticed. A few inches away from the desk, angled like someone had been sitting in it while I was gone. I live alone. The window was locked. My front door chain was still hooked. I tried to brush it off, sleep deprivation, nerves, and overactive imagination, but when I opened my laptop, my browser history was wiped clean. Not just the site, everything. Even mundane stuff like YouTube, email, and banking logins. It was like I'd never touched the internet at all. That's when I called my friend, Alex. He's the kind of guy who thrives on online mysteries, ERGs, conspiracy boards, creepy archives. I figured if anyone could debunk this, it would be him. Send me the link, he said. I'll check it out. I texted him the URL, half hoping it wouldn't load. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. Dude, it's nothing. Just a 404-page. Broken link. My stomach dropped. No, it's there. I saw it. It reacts. You didn't see the... Bro, I'm telling you, there's nothing. Chill. Maybe you got some malware. We argued for a while before he laughed it off and hung up. I wanted to believe him, but that night he texted me again. Only this time, he wasn't laughing. Weird question. Did I talk to you earlier today? I don't remember. My phone says I called you, but the whole conversation's gone. My files too. Desktop's empty. Like someone factory reset my PC. What the hell is happening? He didn't answer when I called back. That's when I realized it wasn't just online anymore. Whatever I'd clicked into had followed me home. The safe boundary of the screen, the thing that let me keep horror at arm's length, was gone. Now it was rearranging my furniture, wiping my memory by proxy, crawling into my friends' devices like a virus that chose who could see it. You're probably thinking I'm exaggerating. I wish I was. But if you've ever scrolled too far, clicked one link too deep, or stared into something that didn't feel like it belonged on the surface web, then you already know. You'll see for yourself soon enough. And once you do, it won't matter if you believe me. It'll already be in your system. I couldn't just sit back and let this thing haunt me. If the site was real, and not some sleep-deprived hallucination, I had to know why it existed. Who built it? What it wanted? So I did what anyone would do. I researched. At first, the trail was faint. Mentions buried on old message boards, digital dust in corners of the web no one visits anymore. Most threads were abandoned, filled with dead links and users who hadn't logged in since the early 2000s. But a pattern emerged. Whispers of a project that shouldn't have been released, sometimes referred to as the null domain. On one forgotten forum, I found a post written in shaky, almost frantic text. The user claimed they'd stumbled onto the same site years ago. Their words hit me like a mirror, the timestamps shifting, the feeling of being watched, the text addressing them directly. But then the post took a darker turn. They claimed the site wasn't just a page, it was a door that had slipped out from an experiment. Something involving government contractors and occult researchers. Something that was never supposed to be online at all. And their final words? If you see it, don't go back. Don't feed it. That post vanished as I was refreshed. Gone. Not cached. Not archived. I thought it was a glitch until it kept happening. Every clue I found, every half-legible archive, every survivor's warning, erased itself as soon as I returned to it. Even screenshots I tried to save on my desktop dissolved into blank files. It was like the evidence had decided it didn't want to exist. That's when I realized the investigation wasn't mine to complete. The deeper I dug, the faster the internet seemed to scrub itself clean, sealing every crack I slipped through. I wish I could show you what I found. I really do. But it's gone now, like it was never there. So where does that leave me? With only one option. If I wanted answers, if I wanted to understand why this site chose me, why it followed me, I had to go back. One last time. I told myself this would be the last time. My hands shook as I typed the URL, like I was carving the word into my own skin. The page loaded slower than before, each pixel dragging itself into existence, as if the site was expecting me. The homepage had changed. No more cryptic text, no broken menus. Just a single message blinking in the center of the screen. So you came back. I wanted to slam the laptop shut, but curiosity pinned me there like a nail through my hand. The cursor moved on its own, hovering over a box that hadn't been there before. I didn't click. It clicked for me. The screen flickered, and then I wasn't looking at random code or forms anymore. I was staring at myself. Not a live feed. Older. Pictures I hadn't uploaded anywhere. Me at 6 years old, sitting on the curb outside my childhood home. A family dinner from a birthday I barely remembered. Conversations I'd had over text years ago with people who aren't even in my life anymore. Word for word, it felt like scrolling through a corrupted museum of my life. Every memory digitized and twisted. The deeper I went, the stranger it became. Pages didn't just load, they opened like doors. I stepped into a landscape that looked nothing like a website anymore. The floor was tiled with chat logs I recognized, my old usernames and late-night rants scrolling under my feet. Walls built from photo albums I'd thought were private. When I reached out, the images rippled as if they were water. And then I heard it. Voices, faint at first. They weren't random whispers. They were people I knew. A friend who'd passed away years ago. My mother, calling me by my childhood nickname. Then deeper, harsher tones. Words I'd never said aloud, but had thought, late at night when I was alone. Things I'd sworn would stay locked inside me forever. It knew. It knew things I never told anyone. And if it knew mine, it could know yours. As I wandered that impossible archive, figures began to appear. Human-shaped, but blurry, like overcompressed JPGs stitched together. They called out to me, some by name, some by phrases only I should know. One stepped closer and said, "Join the others. You belong here now." The screen around me pulsed like a heartbeat. The cursor blinked, waiting for me to answer. I slammed the laptop shut. The voices didn't stop. Even in the silence of my room, I could still hear them, faint and crackling, like a phone call buried under static. That was the last time I went back. Or maybe I never really left. If you've stayed with me this far, I need you to listen carefully, closer than you've ever listened to anyone online. Because this part isn't just my story anymore. It's yours too. If you ever stumble across a site that feels wrong, I'm begging you, don't click. Don't explore. Don't let your curiosity convince you it's just some forgotten corner of the internet. That's how it got me. That's how it always gets you. And if your screen flickers while you're watching this, then it's already too late. I can feel it pushing even now, bleeding through into the words you're reading, into the voice in your head as you imagine me speaking. Every sentence is another door cracked open. Every detail I've shared is another thread pulling you closer. You think you're safe because you're just a viewer? That's what I thought too. The screen used to be a barrier. Now it's a bridge. If this video vanishes from your feed, you'll know why. It won't be because I deleted it. It'll be because they did. Or maybe because I don't exist anymore. Sometimes I wonder if I'm even still here, or if I'm just another voice they've recycled, another ghost trapped in someone else's scroll. Maybe I was erased the moment I shut that laptop, and everything you're hearing now is just an echo, a lure to bring you closer. So ask yourself this. How many others do you think have told this same story before me? How many warnings got buried, flagged, or removed for violations? You won't know, because if you found me, then the cycle has already reached you. And when your turn comes, you'll log in. You'll see. The cursor blinks. The page is waiting.